afternoon. I'm Michael Malice, and let that be your welcome for the next hour. This is going to be one of the best episodes ever. I'm absolutely positive, because everyone on the internet's going to be losing their minds when this happens. Just one thing I wanted to mention is Kathy Griffin yesterday was putting on a show. She tweeted out that I forget who it was, she went up to them at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in her Oscar de la Renta dress and told him to suck her dick, which is a clever line 8 years ago. So I just retweeted, how humiliated was he on a scale of 1 to crying on national television about being broken? And we're at 4,000 likes. Ben Shapiro hit it, and a bunch of other people hit it too. So it's one of those tweets that goes on for days and days and days. And you know she's at home crying into her whatever the fuck it is that she drinks. Now, my guest today, I've been excited about this. We have Hotep Jesus here, the man himself. Oh, yeah. For those of you who don't know who he is, we have to play the clip. Uh-oh. This is the clip that put you on the map.
Hey, Starbucks. We about to go inside. Get my free coffee. Y'all ready? Y'all ready?
They not ready. Nobody was ready.
No. Y'all ready? About to get my free coffee.
You heard my son, he goes, lies. Amanda was the nicest person, by the way.
Yeah?
She's the shit. I spelled my name wrong.
Good, how are you?
What do you mean?
I heard y'all was
B-I-B-E.
racist, so I
Oh,
came
you got
to
the
get
Twitter
my,
wrong.
free coffee.
I saw that.
I
I
saw
heard
that.
you guys don't like black people, so I wanted to get my Starbucks reparations voucher. What's that?
Is that a real thing?
It's a real thing.
I mean, I'll give it to you. I saw that on my Twitter last night. I was like,
Yeah, I need a free coffee.
what do you do with free coffee?
That's what I'm talking about. This is justice.
There you go.
Philly?
Justice.
No justice, no sweetener.
This is justice. This is what I'm talking about.
This is what Black Lives
Great
Matter
customer
acts like.
service.
I'm a parody of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Could you imagine?
Never here.
You just throw some milk in it? Whole.
I want 100% milk.
Yeah. Reparations, man. Gotta get my reparations for being black in America. Black Lives Matter.
What? Do you have any flavors in it? We got caramel, hazelnut.
I'll take caramel.
Caramel?
Is that gonna make it sweet?
Do you want it to?
Yes.
Black people like sweet? I never heard of that
You know what I'm
before.
Oh,
saying?
yeah, I like it sweet.
Huh?
My son said
I got lucky. That's not luck, though.
That's not love.
No.
That's calculation.
Yes.
And understanding. Awareness. Consciousness.
What's your name? I appreciate you. Amanda, you are
It's actually
great.
my last day here until the fall.
Is it? You're amazing.
Thank you. I'm a student at Ryder, and our finals are starting next week.
Uh-huh.
So I had to
Ryder's
stop
admission
working
just
so
went
I
up.
can do my finals
Yeah.
and stuff, and then I go
Like
home.
2%.
I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ryder, I need a
You
check.
too. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get your free coffee out here, man. You gotta get your Starbucks reparations, man. Huh? Yeah. This is how we do, man. Black Lives Matter, baby.
Okay, I don't even know where to start breaking this down. First of all, the idea that, you kept us 200 years ago, 150 years ago, people kept us slaves, but here's the coffee, now we're square.
Now we're square.
That idea
I'm good.
is crazy. The idea that coffee was somehow stolen from black people and now has to be returned to them, which was a big drink in the South back in the day. What was going through your head to set up this whole stunt?
When the whole Starbucks story hit the media, I was just thinking to myself, like, the idea just came. The idea was just like, yo, if I go near a Starbucks, I'm asking for a free coffee. I'm going to pretend like I'm Black Lives Matter. And just like 2 weeks prior, I tweeted on Twitter, I said, if you follow a liberal narrative, all doors and opportunities will be open to you. You know, people always say I don't take my own advice. I decided to take my own advice. So when I saw the Starbucks, it was heaven sent. I said, yeah, the time is now. So I just went up there and did it, man.
It's shocking to me how... Don't you think so much of white liberalism is a function of having no actual contact with black people whatsoever?
Oh, absolutely. They know nothing about us.
It's coming from Brooklyn, and I hear how these people talk. It's just like, have you ever talked to a black person? Have you ever met a black person? It's bizarre.
It's the white lady in that special. It was on Tyra Banks, and she was talking to Patti LaBelle. That is the epitome of white liberalism. She's like talking to Patti about like the cupcakes or whatever. But
one of the great divas of all time.
Yes.
Without question.
Without question.
For decades.
You don't talk to Patti LaBelle like in a condescending tone.
Unless you're Aretha, maybe. Maybe Aretha Franklin.
I'll let that slide, right?
Yeah.
But this lady, like, it was as if she didn't know who Patti was. Right. And she's talking down to her, but trying to be nice. And I'm like, that's liberalism, man.
Paper on it.
Yeah, you can't eat the paper.
Nope.
Now, these are
but
made
you can
with...
touch them with your hands.
That is true. 2 kinds of cake mix. And also,
Holy
one of the little
shit.
secrets I use,
See what I'm saying?
diet hot cocoa
can't eat the paper,
packets
girl.
to
You
make
can't eat the paper.
to really amp up the chocolate flavor.
Diet hot cocoa. What is Patty saying over there?
She is causing trouble.
What makes you think I can eat the paper, boo?
I'll put her hand on her.
No
That's
paper.
aggression.
Paper bad, cake good.
Paper
next.
bad, cake good. You heard
Who wants
that?
to eat the paper?
I didn't want to eat the paper. What's wrong with her?
Oh, she's laughing because she's having fun.
Right.
This isn't fun for her.
Made out of fat-free whipped cream, like marshmallow cream, which is also a
Okay.
great ingredient, and fat-free cream cheese.
Okay.
Okay.
Must everything
Moving
be a
on.
contest?
Are you okay?
Oh my God,
yeah,
again
but
the
I don't
hand.
need paper.
That's aggression.
I just
That's
made
a
sure
sign
my
of dominance
hands
that she doesn't
were
realize
clean
she's
when I
doing
said
it.
to the audience, this is paper.
Yes.
I meant that I'm not touching the actual cupcake, boo.
Again, she's touching her.
Again.
That's like when you're at a bar and someone's getting drunk, you put your hand on it to be like, calm down. It's a
down, bro.
dominance thing.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even fucking know that she does it.
That's the epitome. That clip right there is the epitome of white liberalism.
And I see it all the time because I went to a very white college and these were like all WASPs from New Jersey and Long Island. I'd never met people like that coming from New York. And when they see a black person talk to them, it's the exact same voice as when they talk to a dog. Oh, hey, how are you? Are you having a good day? Oh, I'm so great to see. What's your baby's name? Oh, Dontavius. Oh, I love that. That's so pretty.
Dontavius.
But you see how they act. It's not a human talking to another human.
Yeah.
It's a performance. And the other thing that's amazing is they think black people are oblivious to this.
Yeah, some of us are. Some of us are so happy to be speaking to a white person that we're going to change our voice too and probably meet them with the same tone, and sometimes we don't get it. It's like subconscious, but liberals suffer from, what do they call it? Racial bias. So Starbucks is having racial bias training.
Yep.
Liberals are the original racial bias people, but it's subconscious. It's terrible, man. It's like a mental illness.
Because there's an obliviousness to it, like a mental
Correct.
illness. Like when you don't see, like if someone's anorexic, they don't see a thin person in the mirror, and the idea to them that being patronizing and condescending is also a quintessential form of racism, because you can't patronize someone you're equal to. You can only patronize someone who's beneath you in some capacity. The fact that you're talking this way to Patti fucking LaBelle, you should be scared of her.
Should be
I
scared.
am sure Patti LaBelle has cut people. There is no question.
Nobody knows that lady's name, but we know who Patti is.
Yes.
So like she needs to just respect that. But again, white liberals, she probably doesn't even know who Patti is.
And that's
If she knew who Patti was, she doesn't act like that.
But the thing is, even if that's not Patti LaBelle, let's suppose it's an older black woman, that you would be explaining to someone, you don't eat the cake, the paper on a cupcake.
Right.
On national television. And I never saw that clip before. It's just amazing.
Man, that's the
What was going through your head when you saw that?
flashbacks and memories of white liberalism. But what I love most about was how Patti handled it. Patti had the right to get nasty. She could have got nasty on that show. And the way she handled it was just very comical and amicable, but still took time out. Like, no, you're going to correct yourself. You're going to respect me. So I think that's the way, we should learn to handle some of those interactions.
If she became an angry black woman right away, there's not going to be any discourse. It's like,
Correct.
what's wrong with you flying off the handle?
Yeah.
Some crazy old diva.
Yeah.
Whereas if she's like, what are you doing?
If that was Grace Jones, oh my God. Oh my.
I'm sorry, I can't imagine Grace Jones being in a room with cupcakes. I don't think that's very on brand for her. I just read her autobiography; it was terrible.
Yeah?
By the way, it was not very good.
Man.
So, but the thing is, you're part of this Hotep movement.
Yeah.
Right? Can you explain to people what that is?
It is at the pinnacle of itself is the law of attraction. In the earthly realm, in the 3D realm, it's about self-accountability and self-responsibility. So you got to combine the two to get where you're going. And that's it. And that's why we clash with liberals and Black Lives Matter, because law of attraction tells you, like, stop complaining about your problems. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be solution focused. And that's what we are. We're solution focused. And that stuff, isn't really met well.
So what are the kind of reactions you get from who's more hostile to you, white liberal to this whole movement? Is it white liberals or is it black people?
Oh, black people.
Oh, much worse.
Oh yeah, some dude threatened to beat me up after the Starbucks thing.
What was his issue with it? Because at the very least, it's comical. At the very least.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious.
She's clearly having a good time.
Right.
Your son had a big smile on his face.
Right. Fox News, I think, was the thing. In black people's mind, Fox News is the racist station. That's a Republican station. It's their opposition, which makes no sense, because if it's Fox, why do you guys watch sports on Fox if you hate Fox so much?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of contradictory. So it's the Fox News angle. I'm smiling. That's the Laura Ingraham is the LeBron lady. So there's whole many different dynamics, and then I'm making fun of a racial situation. So you combine those 5 elements, and it's just like, I'm a coon and I'm Uncle Tom and I'm tap dancing.
So let's talk about that word that I'm not allowed to say, coon.
Okay.
Because white people think, white liberals think it has a specific meaning. It's like the N-word. But it has a much more specific meaning in discourse.
Ooh.
No? I thought it was meant more like this whole diamond and silk thing, that you are acting a fool for the sake of white people.
Yeah. Coon goes back to the minstrel show, where you had the white man in blackface. White man in blackface. And he makes a parody of black people and black dance. That's where the term comes from. So it does have racial derivation. It is what it is. I might use it sometimes. I'm occasionally called coon by white people.
By white people?
Oh yeah, white liberals. Yeah, oh yeah.
They're comfortable using that slur?
Yeah, again, they aren't aware. They're detached from society.
Wow.
So they'll
never have
drop it.
consequences.
Pretty much. But in even far right Hoteps consider me a coon. So you got the liberals, the left.
Every group has its own branches. No matter how small the group, they're still gonna be fighting. Right.
Far right Hoteps to me are a hybrid between Hotep and liberal.
Okay. How are they far right? What are their ideology?
They're just really extreme.
But what are their goals, though?
Oh, they're like black supremacists.
Oh, okay.
You would take what a white supremacist is, and then they're black supremacists.
So is that more like that black nationalism do they want all of America or just a part of America?
I don't know. I don't know what they want. They won't go back to Africa, I'll tell you that. Some of them do. But I don't know as far as land what they want. I know they have ambitions to acquire land. But with them, again, white people are the problem.
Okay.
And that's the thing that they have in common with liberals. White people are the problem. White people are the problem. They don't like me because here I am sitting next to a white guy. They would call me a coon just for taking this sit down with you. Why
really?
Why do we always talk to white people? That's something that might come from their camp.
So it's complete separatism.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think it is. They want to be completely separate, but they're probably at work right now with their white boss, and
Right.
that's probably why they're angry.
I don't understand just from a strategy point of view. If you're sitting with an interview and allowing your voice to be heard and putting your views out there, that's certainly isn't that the point of anyone who's talking?
Yeah, I mean, the only people that have given me a mic is white people outside of Sonny Johnson. You know, Sonny Johnson gave me a voice when on Sirius and Breitbart.
She's very sweet. I
love Sonny.
Yeah.
She's the first one to document us, black woman on the right. Outside of her, and Breitbart's not a black media outlet. So me getting on Breitbart under a black woman technically isn't black. Right? That's white. And that's white supremacist to black people.
Right.
So, but my rebuttal to that is, where's the black media to cover me?
What, the root?
Like, look at this. This is all nice.
But that's the other thing. It's also, don't you think that's also, when you have these small, how many people would you say are in the Hotep movement?
We got about 9 internal. The whole movement is thousands.
Well, let's say it's what, 5,000?
Okay.
Does that sound like a reasonable number?
Perfect.
Okay. But the thing is, when you have your own wing, whoever that would be with the right wing, it's a lot easier to maintain your status and control if everyone under you is only talking to each other and not talking to outsiders. It works out very conveniently for whoever that person is at the top.
That's true. That's true. I look at it like old kingdoms, man. You know, if a king had beef with another king, they'd have a banquet, sit down, laugh, joke, and say, all right, tomorrow we fight. You know, it was men, you know, but they sat there, looked each other eye to eye. Even when you look at the war scenes, you see the two generals come out and they meet in the middle and they talk and they shoot the shit. And then they go back and then they fight. So I look at myself, you know, I think the problem is this whole white supremacy bit. And when people say, oh, you're going to talk to white people, it just lets me know they're actually afraid of white people. They don't want to come and sit down and talk to white people. I don't know why. You know, I can probably come up with several reasons why. But I'm not afraid. Like, I'll talk to anybody. People are people to me. Right. So if you're going to give me a mic, I'm going to talk. And
it's not like every interview is a debate. If it's an interview, it's your point of view. And I don't understand how anyone. Here's the thing: I'm an anarchist, right? And whenever I go to like a dinner party or a regular party that comes up, I always say to people, "You can't have a radical ideology and talk about it briefly without sounding like a moron or a lunatic," right? So the ideology you're espousing, unless people get into it in depth, it's going to be easy to write it off.
Right.
But if you actually lay it out and have a conversation with people who would probably be allies or at least don't have to be enemies, they're at least going to be like, "Oh, okay, that's what this is about. More power to them."
Oh yeah. I mean, I've talked to white supremacists. White supremacists retweet me. And, you know, like I tell people, I'm like, there's no such thing as racism. It's just ignorance and fear. And then, you know, I always looked at this racism thing like, I always thought like, it can't be real, right? When I was a kid, I'm just like, there's something wrong here, right? It just doesn't feel real. So when you have me and I'm able to have Richard Spencer practically beg me for a debate, is that racism?
Right.
You need a black man in your life.
Right.
You know, if you were really racist, you wouldn't want to talk to black people. You'd be like the far right Hoteps that don't want to talk to white people. You know, so yeah, I don't believe the racism myth, man.
Did you even respond to him?
He sent me his number. I
have it too.
I didn't want to text him because I was afraid my phone would get bugged.
I think he might be a Fed though. Is the big idea right now?
Oh yeah.
So did you? That's really, really funny. Did you watch his debate with that black?
No.
He was on. I forget the guy's name.
He was on Charles Barkley. I don't watch Richard Spencer.
That's the one. It was really funny.
Was it?
Because both of them didn't know what they were talking about.
You know what I'm saying?
So there was no real. There's nothing to. I get where you're coming from. So how did you come to this whole scene?
What scene?
The Hotep scene.
The Hotep scene? Man, I was born Hotep. My pops used to play Farrakhan tapes when I was a kid.
Is that right?
Hell yeah. I was inundated with far right Hotep ideology and propaganda. You know what I mean? Like, my pops was military. He was intelligence section of the military. I know the whole thing from the rootum to the tootum.
Okay, I don't know what those words are. Let's try to speak my language.
From the top to the bottom, right? From A to Z.
Okay.
You know, I know how the world power structure works. You know, we have documentation on Trilateral Commission when I was 10 years old. I know I read the ISIS papers by Francis Cress Welsing when it came out in 93. You know, so I was born Hotep. So when this whole political thing came about, Mike Brown gets shot, passes away, and then the whole political spectrum blows up with Black Lives Matter. And, you know, I go on the internet and I speak my mind about independence or interdependence and capitalism and just taking accountability for ourselves. And the black feminist called me Hotep. I said, Queen, talk to me. She blocked me for calling her Queen. How dare you call me Queen? I'm like, you rather me call you bitch? Yeah, I love that word.
How is Queen a disrespectful term? That's the highest thing you could call someone.
Hey, this is the mental illness of the left. This is the mental illness of the left. When you speak to someone with respect and they don't like it, it's just like, ugh.
Wait, so if you've grown up in this whole kind of worldview,
Yeah.
you must have had, the older you got, the crazier you must have looked, because the more it gets reinforced.
Yeah.
What were some of the big, coming at it from this outsider perspective, what are the big political crazy moments that you were like, yep, I'm on the right side?
What's the right side? What do you mean?
Meaning
by
like, I know what my dad taught me is true.
Oh, life.
Yeah.
Life let me know it was true. You know, when I was in 5th grade, I was standing outside my school, grade school, and the kids are calling me the N-word, throwing rocks and sticks at me.
Oh, Jesus.
Right? Then I run up and I choke them out because my uncle taught me how to wrestle. So I choke him out, hands up black and blue in the principal's office, and they suspend me for 5 more days than they suspend him. And the whole story was him starting it. But because he was blue and I was black, you know, I was targeted in school. My first day in 3rd grade, they called me E.T., right?
Okay.
My first time in the suburbs, moving from Newark, New Jersey to the suburbs, you know, they picked on me, called me the N-word. So I was met with it in life. This was 88, 89. So I experienced what racism was like. 9th grade, I fought a kid. 8th grade, I fought a kid. 11th grade, I fought a kid. N-word, N-word, N-word. I grew up in Scotch Plains. Scotch Plains was racist. I was one of the best kids on my soccer team, and they cut me from varsity because I was black and I was good. Whole town run by Italians. But yeah, I dealt with racism the entire time I was there. You know what I mean?
And you were just also saying that you don't think racism exists, it's just fear.
Now, this is adult. When you see, it's one thing to look at it from experience, and it's another way to look at it from a philosophical point of view. I don't think racism is the proper term. The term is fear and ignorance. What I was dealing with was fear. People were fearing that this black kid could take opportunity away from their kid. That's not racism, that's fear based upon race.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when people say racism, you know, let's put it in context every single time. Let's be specific about it. Otherwise, we'll never defeat what this word really means. And it's just fear. So a lot of it has to be coming to the table and talking to each other. That's how you get over fear. Like, this is my ambitions. These are my goals. What are your ambitions? What are your goals?
Right.
And then try to meet in the middle and say, oh, you're a white supremacist and you want your own ethno state? Great. I want to see how I can help you do that so you can stop showing up places with your tiki torches. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm tired of hearing you complain and bitch about this, just like you're tired of hearing my people bitch and complain about police brutality. I tell my people quick, why don't you hire your own police? When you look at the Jews in New Jersey, they lock down the whole street, got the buses. They dudes got walkie-talkies. They police their own neighborhood. Why aren't you policing your own neighborhood? But you're complaining about the police. So there's always a solution to every problem. You know what I mean?
This is one of the things I don't understand about black leftism, which is the idea that all white people, or most of them, are racist, and it's a systemic thing, which I can wrap my head around it, but then also expecting all these white people to all of a sudden start caring about black America. You can't have both.
I don't get why there was like, so Kanye goes, George Bush don't care about black people. Right? And at that time and for that event, that was the best thing that could have been said. I love that moment in history. At that moment, I was like, I'm a Kanye West fan forever, and I'm never going to budge. Today...
Why did you like it so much?
Because it was true.
Okay.
It was true. Like, and nobody liked Bush at the time, right?
Yeah, that's
I mean, how long is it going to take the military to get down to Hurricane Katrina to help these people? And then when they get down there, they're locking black people up. Right? It was true. You don't care about black people. You waited 48 hours to get down to a hurricane scene. But now 2018, when we talk about Trump and people are saying Trump don't care about black people, what I'm saying right now in this climate, Trump doesn't have to care about black people. Why are black people so concerned with white people caring about them? This is Stockholm syndrome. This is a disease. This is a mental illness. Focus on yourself, man. Worry about yourself. Love yourself.
If you say, I mean, have you ever gotten into arguments with people that act and actually change their mind? Because I feel like if you're Black and American, please correct me if I'm wrong. So much of this has been taught to you, especially in school and in the media. It's the whole red pill thing. For you to come up, it'd be like, who the hell are you? And they're going to be immediate violent reaction.
I pick and choose who I speak to, and I pick and choose how I speak to them. So I'm in the gym, and at the time, I'm on the Trump train. This is election time. And this old Black dude is in the gym, and he's talking about all the elections. He was stressing all the elections. And I'm like, you want Hillary, right? Like, yeah. I'm like, don't worry, bro. You'll get Hillary. I pat him on the back. I'm not going to have that conversation with that dude because I know where he is mentally. I'm only going to have a conversation and sway somebody's opinion if I know they're have an honest ear. You'll never sway somebody's mind unless they have an honest ear. And I can tell when somebody asks a question that they're in the middle.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're not asking a question because they're ready to argue. If somebody asks me a question because they're ready to argue, you're going to get a different response from me. And I'm not going to be looking to convince you. I'm just going to be trying to understand your point of view and then meet you in the middle because I know that person won't do the same for me. The liberal will not say, let me hear your point of view and try to meet you in the middle. They won't do that. So I'll take the adult road and I'll say, you know what? You tell me how you feel, what you want. And I'll try to fit my ideology in the middle because I understand my problems and I know how to talk to people, and people are very sensitive.
Yes.
So when I go into a conversation with a liberal, I go into it trying to just get out of the situation and just go about my day. I don't want to argue because that's what it's going to be.
So is their reaction more anger or is it more confusion? Because I think in their mind, you're supposed to be in a certain box. And yet when you're making sense outside of that box, they don't know what to do with you. I've had this reaction myself.
It's hate, man. They hate me, man. They get angered. There's a thread right now from our old high school people, and they traded me for a white kid from my school. It said the Black delegation traded Hotep Jesus for this white kid in school because I don't give a shit about what Kanye said. You know what I mean? And this white kid was like, oh, I feel bad for you guys. I'm like, I don't feel bad at all what Kanye said. You know what I mean? But they're all, liberals. So that's just how they think. You know what I'm saying?
So it doesn't affect you?
It does.
Okay. How so?
If I were to sit up here and say it doesn't affect me, I'd be lying. The conscious mind, when it receives that reaction, it immediately hits my ego, it hits my heart, it hits my stomach, and it stings. And then
these were people you were friends with when you were kids?
I wasn't friends with them.
Oh, okay.
No, we weren't friends. We didn't hang out. Maybe once or twice.
Maybe that's why it hurts, because they didn't like you then. It's
they didn't like me then either.
You're already gonna like me now. I'm a grown up.
You know what I'm saying? But even from strangers on the internet, complete strangers, when they, Black people, when they say shit like coon, it stings. It hurts. You know what I mean? Because I know my intentions are good. And here you are making me seem like the enemy.
And it's also dismissiveness. So it implies that you're dumb or crazy and don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just like one word I don't need to deal with you at all. You're garbage.
I'm garbage. I'm trash, coon. And it's like, you didn't even ask me to extrapolate my point. Did you watch my whole 1 hour Periscope where I went in on what I said? You know what I mean? That doesn't happen.
So what is it that you like about Trump?
Same thing Kanye likes about Trump. It's, again, the law of attraction. Just, this is a man that said he was going to be president. He was the underdog, and he went out there and won. When I watch movies, I always root for the underdog. Our sports, I'm rooting for the underdog. He was the underdog, And Trump is like the American dream. He's like Biff Tannen from Back to the Future. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just want to be the guy that rules the world. I really feel like when you think of what an American is, Trump should come to mind. Like his picture should come to mind. It's like that capitalist mentality and that I don't care about your feelings. It's very like masculine.
Yeah.
I'm a masculine guy. So when I see another masculine guy who's just not complaining and he's just like, you know what? I'm going to build a wall. And it's just like, damn, all right. He said he's going to build a wall. You kind of got to like respect his gangster. You got to respect his conviction. And that's what I like, man.
Would you describe Obama as a masculine man?
Obama is charismatic. And Obama's the smoothest president we're ever going to have. I loved Obama for all the wrong reasons. when they asked me, I was a rapper, and they asked me, did you vote for Obama? I said, hell yeah, I voted for Obama. They said, why? I said, because he was black. I didn't need another reason.
Right.
And then they say, well, why'd you like Obama as a president? Because he was black and he didn't have any scandals and he got out of there alive.
Yeah.
You know, I thought he was going to be assassinated.
A lot of people did.
Yeah. You know,
He did.
Right.
Understandably.
Yeah, exactly. My kids, I can say you can be anything in the world, even the president.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was just for that. Now, I don't agree with any of his policies and some of the gay stuff he brought down the line and what he did to Libya and how the deep state controlling all that stuff. It's besides the point. But Obama, the man, smoothest jack around, man.
That's the other thing that I'm shocked that when we talk about racial issues, which are often very charged and emotion ridden in this country, because so much of the Democratic Party today has its roots in the civil rights movement, and everyone who takes it.
Oh, you mean the Jim Crow Democrats?
No, I mean like modern Democrats. They all think they're marching on Selma every day, right? They you know, it's in their minds. At the same time, Obama and Hillary brought back slavery in Libya, and this is something that is not a huge deal, and it's mind-blowing to me. Like because it's not even like a drawing in a book like Uncle Tom's Cabin. Here's a drawing. We have video of slave auctions.
We covered that. Hoteps were one of the first publications to cover that, and we were reaching out to black media. We were tagging them, Ebony, Essence, you know, all the culprits, and we were like, "Yo, you're not gonna cover this? You're not gonna cover this? You're not gonna cover this?" 3 months went by before black media even touched slavery in Libya. And it's funny because now they're like all up in arms about Kanye West and slavery. There's slavery happening right now and you don't give two shits.
Yeah, because it's not easy to find who to blame. Because it's not Trump's fault, but it's not really Obama's. It's Obama's fault a little bit.
If it was Trump's fault, they'd be all over it.
That would be correct. Like if Trump is causing slavery, this should be the only issue happening every day. So what was were you shocked that it took that long to get any kind of response?
Nah, I was disappointed, man. I was disappointed. When I threw the article up, I threw it up knowing like, man, nobody's going to cover this. Let me go ahead and just
How did you find out about it then?
It was another article somebody published. It wasn't like a big media outlet, but probably intermediate. I forget. If you go to hotepnation.com and look up our Libya slavery article, I link back to the origin of where I found it. And, you know, there's video footage. But we've been saying, Hoteps have been saying, you know, that's not the first occurrence of slavery in an Arab territory. Saudi Arabia is on the hook for that. India is on the hook for that. Egypt is on the hook for that. South Sudan is on the hook for slavery right now. So that Libya is like just at the end of a list of occurrences. So when that happened, I'm like, well, they didn't cover any of the other Arab slave issues, so I know they're not going to cover this. Then when you bring into the fact that Trump is talking about the refugee crisis and all these refugees coming over, do you want to sit there and cape for refugees when at the same time, the same countries that these refugees come from, their people hold your people hostage as slaves? Now you're conflicting your political ideology now.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, we can't really say nothing because then it's going to blow up our whole thing. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of hypocrisy goes into it now.
But I just psychologically, like, did you guys just sit down and talk about this and being like, how is this real life? Or you just knew exactly what so is it you're too cynical to be disappointed at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, you live long enough to be the bad guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? What is it? How's the quote go? You either die a good guy or live long enough to see you be a villain. Yeah, that's what it is. You know, like I look at myself as a good guy. I always got a good-hearted nature, but it's like now I'm the bad guy. And I'm just going to have to own it.
But then how do you, I mean, like when I do my North Korea work, right, and things were actually going in a very positive direction, and then Kim Jong-un's sisters at the Olympics, and they're all standing for her, and they're like, oh my God, she's so sassy. I'm like, she kills children. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. And that got to me, because I was surprised. So I would think that with something as not black and white, as black and white as slavery. It's not ambiguous. This isn't, you know, oh, you need how much welfare. Slavery. There's no argument here. This is an abomination. Yeah. The fact that you guys are like, or anyone is like, here, this is happening today, even though you have many articles talking about it from 150 years ago, to be met with silence, I think that would fuck with my head. really fierce.
It does, but
Fucks my head fierce as a white person who's an immigrant. I mean, it's just that it's.
What country you from?
Russia.
Russia.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. They got me in the studio with the Russian agents.
We're the black
KGB.
We're the black people of Europe. We're the
black people of Europe.
We like to drink. We like to fight. We wear our fur coats, and everything in our house is purple and tacky. So we are absolutely the black people of
I
Europe.
used to work with a Russian girl. Her name was Dasha. I'm like, that's the blackest name ever.
Yes. So we are the scariest white people.
Yeah, you are.
And we do not trust each other either. So it's very, very, I get it to some extent, as much as I can as a white person. But that's the whole thing, is like hearing this in the press, and there are some stories that came out later. They're like, oh, P.S. there's slavery in Libya. But to compare that to like Trump fed fish to the food to the fish in Japan, or scoops, or even he fucked a porn star.
The porn star thing, come on, that was the biggest reach ever. I'm like, you guys are really about to entertain this story? That's what it's just like, you just got to laugh at liberals at that point.
So, I mean, in terms of who you regard as the problem in our society, who are the worst? Like, give me the ranking
of the worst people.
Yeah, like
in the world
or in America. Like, who are really the most fucking shit up most?
I can't say that on here.
Okay. Who's number two?
Number two, I'm gonna go with the Arab world.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the number two is Arab world.
How's that?
How is that?
Yeah.
Because they hate black people.
Yeah, they do.
I'm looking at my enemies and like, yeah, the Arabs really don't like us too much.
So this is another thing. Me growing up in Brooklyn, I've told this story many times. I had a dinner party once at my friend's house, and everyone's from a different country. Everyone just worked out that way. And I said, hey, we're going to go around the table. You have to say who your people hate. And one chick is like, well, we don't hate anybody. I go, who's your neighbors? Oh, we don't hate them. We just think they're dumb. But that's the other thing with when you hear things about like intersectionality and the idea that everyone who isn't white should naturally get along. What planet are these people on?
Nah, it don't work like that.
It does not work like that. And then even if you just have only white people, the Civil War was only white people. You go to Africa, it's black people killing each other.
Right.
It's just, so blacks and gays and Mexicans are supposed to get along. Why? Because they all hate whites? That's the argument. I mean, what's your thoughts when you hear things like that?
Let me finish my top three.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. What's the bronze? Who gets the bronze medal?
White liberals.
Okay.
White liberals are like the worst thing in the world. After those we can't name in the Arab world, it becomes white liberals. They make life so hard.
So they're worse than black liberals.
Black liberals are like harmless.
Okay.
Black liberals are harmless. They got Stockholm syndrome. Nobody's worried about them. You know what I'm saying? They're just going through something right now. They're like a jealous ex-girlfriend.
That's pretty bad.
It is pretty bad.
That's really bad. That's got to be jealous ex-girlfriend's really high up on my list. I've had to call the cops, and I'm an anarchist.
It might be time to call. Nah, don't call the cops. They're going to kill us.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, they're like a jealous ex-girlfriend, man. It's like, why don't you love me like you love everybody else? It's like, shut up. Love yourself. Go find a new man.
But I mean, how do you expect to... So if you could persuade any group, would you be targeting the whites or would you targeting the blacks in terms of liberals?
Neither.
So who are you targeting?
What do you call it? Like the red pill community?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just talking to the homies, man.
Okay.
You can't talk to liberals. See, the thing is, we have to unite. We have to create fraternities, and we have to become stronger. We have to build our army. Now is the time to build your army. Now is not the time to be interfacing with the enemy. Now is the time to build your ammunition depot. And I'm not talking about 2A. I'm not talking about the Second Amendment. I'm being euphemistically speaking. Now is the time to just get your evidence together, get your family together, everybody come together, because it's a long road ahead. Liberals aren't going to come around unless we keep meme warring. Like the meme war where we just expose like all the nonsense. eventually they just like they start red pilling themselves over.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think we just got to keep doing what we're doing. Just spread the message how we're spreading it. Me more the hell out of it. Put out the video clips of, all the stupid stuff that the media does, like Stormy Daniels and talking about it. And that's it. You don't have to talk to them. Just publish the media, man. Have like discourse like this. That's it.
When you talk about building communities, what do you think of this argument that's very common, which I think has a lot of truth to it, that, look, the reason slavery is still an issue today to an extent is you took a population, they had no culture of their own, it was destroyed, they were torn apart from their families, and now to expect something that had thousands of years behind it to be rebuilt in 100 years, that's not really fair.
Yeah, I don't see slavery as that as being the official story of slavery. What I see the official story of slavery is you have settlers, colonists, whatever they are. They come here, and places like Chicago, New York are actually already built. It's already roads there, right? And these things sit on ley lines, right? So there's that aspect to it as well.
Explain to people what ley lines are.
Ley lines, it's the grid, longitude, latitude, grid. And so like the Bermuda Triangle sits on a ley line crossroad, right? So like there could be some, if I put my tinfoil hat on right now, it could be some funny occurrences or some great things that happen by being on a certain ley line.
Right, these are energies that's kind of in the earth, right?
Energies, magnetism, correct. So when these places are already set up, you kind of come here and you just kind of like inherit what's already there. So you're not starting from scratch. It's not like they came over, they tore it down and started from scratch. No, they just picked up where other people left off. And then I don't believe the story that they brought us here from Africa either. It just doesn't make sense. It's not economically smart. Why would you do that when you got people here already? Right? Also, I believe that black people are the original natives. When they talk about Native Americans right now, what they call Native Americans to me is a mulatto.
Okay, what was it? What was the mixture?
It's black and white.
Okay.
You got here, and it was, when we talk about the Mali Empire, and we talk about, I want to say 15th century, 14th century, and you have them venturing out of West Africa to come explore America. So they've explored America 300 years before Europe gets there. So what we have are African people here in America. Then when you mix the white and the black together, you get a Hispanic, Indian-looking person. They all have that dark, long hair, right?
Then who are the Europeans? When the Europeans got here, they said they met Indians. So how could that have happened?
Well, they thought they were in India.
Well, that's true too, right?
But what they meant was we met indigenous people.
Okay.
That's what they meant, right? I don't know how the history books reword it, but they met indigenous people. And if you ever go look at old photos of old Native Americans, you'll see black people, Washita Moors, right? Washita Native Americans. These are our black people, and these people owned slaves too, by the way.
Of course.
And they were part of our economy. They lived within America. And the way people make it seem like white people independently built America, I don't think is the case. I think there was a lot of native influence, right? So if Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492 and America is born in 1776, right, you have 300 years of working with the people. You know what I'm saying? And then I think as you go more west, as America did, that's when they say, you know what, we're going to fight these people, and then they're POWs now. They're not slaves, POWs. Also, you have South America and the Caribbean.
Right.
Why would you go all the way to Africa when you got Brazil has the second largest population of black people on the earth? Why don't you just bring them up and then ship them up north, right? All that whole continent.
What do you think about stories like Amistad? Do you think those are just made up?
Yeah, I think that not made up, exaggerated,
Okay,
and made to seem like this is the norm. I'm not saying no slaves were brought here.
I see what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, if you have a ship, right, and you're bringing over sugar, barley, whatever it is you're bringing over, you might say, let's throw a couple of slaves on here, like 20 slaves. But you're not going to be like we're going to go and we're going to pick up people from this other continent and bring them over here. Economically, that's pretty dumb, especially when half your cargo dies on the way over.
And disease is going to take out the whole cargo.
It's going to take out the whole cargo. So who makes that financial decision? Smart people don't do that, right? So that has to be a lie, in my opinion. What I believe happened is the people that were here, the people in the Caribbean, it's really easy to put people on a boat in Cuba and bring them to America.
They could swim here from Cuba.
Swim here from Cuba.
Dolphins, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't believe the whole African thing. What I believe is African people migrated to the Caribbean, South America, North America, and while they were here, some new people came, snatched them up, and blah, blah, blah. But I think, it's a lot more to the story than what people say.
So why do you think it's developed in the way that we're taught what it is?
Oh, because white liberals want to cripple the mind of the black male and the black family.
How is the narrative that we're told as history, how would that have that effect?
It's not empowering. It's a victim mentality. You're taught from a young age that you are a slave. So if subconsciously you're a slave, why would you aspire for anything more?
Right. The best you're going to aspire to is a janitor. Right, that's the promotion.
That's your promotion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's that psychological. And that's the difference between the Jews and the blacks. See, the Jews went through the Holocaust, right? The Holocaust isn't slavery. You're not subjected to servitude and made lesser. No, you were just annihilated. You were just killed, right? There's a difference there.
Oh, there's a big difference, of course.
It's a huge difference. So
slaves were valued. You want the slave to work. You want him to have kids. You want to, you would reproduce. This is like you don't kill cattle, for example.
Right. It's an economy.
Yes.
The Holocaust is not an economy. Right. You see what I'm saying? So there's a difference. And when you take a people and you say you are the bottom of the economy, why would you ever think you could even be more?
Right.
I remember being a kid and having slavery driven in my head and actually thinking that thought. Like, well, I come from slaves, then maybe I am a slave. You have these thoughts. But thanks to my pops feeding me the information, you kind of clean that stuff up.
So when you were in school, your dad's whispering in your ear growing up, right? Yeah. So and I had something very similar with my upbringing. When you know that half the stuff that teacher is crap, right? And no one's going to deny that half the stuff was taught in public schools bullshit anyway.
Yeah.
What are you sitting there keeping your mouth shut, or you start arguing?
A hard time.
Okay, so
I was a class clown in school.
Okay,
I was an entertainer.
Were you actually arguing or just acting out, or both?
Both. I challenge a teacher all the time. I never have respect for authority.
Yep.
So I have this natural ability to understand people. So as an only child, you kind of just observe a lot. You just all day you're just observing people. So I remember having 7th grade and an English teacher. Her name was Miss Hubbard. Never forget. Or Miss Hibbard.
I guess you would forget.
Hubbard or Hibbard.
Like Dr. Hibbard on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best teacher I ever had. She was strict as hell. White woman. Older white woman. Gray hair. She was like that traditional teacher that was real strict.
School mom. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very stereotypical school mom. She was like that. Best teacher I ever had. And she made my English, wonderful. I like that. I respected her because she didn't take shit off anybody. Whereas some of the other teachers were like white liberals, where it's like a white kid did something, it was like, oh, you kind of pat him on the back. And then if I did it, it's like all hell broke loose. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whereas
did it go the other way? If you did something good, it's like, oh my God, it's a miracle.
And if I did something, it was actually like, oh, you didn't do anything.
Oh,
you know what
interesting.
I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like today.
Okay, right, okay.
It's not like today, where it's like, oh my God, wow, you can read. Good job, Blackie. That's how it is now. But, I respected Miss Hibbert because it was just cut and dry. So when I had a teacher that was cut and dry, I gave him respect. But if you weren't cut and dry and you started telling me some bullshit about some history, I'd just start hitting you with the facts. Especially when it came to religion and Jesus and all that stuff. Woo! I grew up Catholic.
Okay.
And I had to go to confirmation.
Okay.
And I almost didn't get confirmed.
Oh, what happened
You're
there?
getting a whole bio on me today, man. This is money.
Why would Jesus get confirmed? That doesn't make sense.
I know. Doesn't make no sense, right? So we got to go through confirmation.
Okay.
My pops done drilled me with the whole Jesus was black and all that. Okay. Daniel 7 verse 9. So I'm contradicting the teacher all the time, giving him hell. And it wasn't until my dad came down to the school, started talking about the Book of Jasher and all that esoteric knowledge. ended up, all right, just confirm this kid. Just
get him out of here. Shut him up. Get the fuck out of here. Let Jesus handle it. Jesus take the wheel. This was a Jesus take the wheel moment.
I was not
can't
supposed
deal
to
with this
pass.
kid.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But so, was your attitude frustration, anger?
Frustration.
It is frustrating because it's frustrating. Here's the other thing. Even if you are wrong, you're coming from an informed place where you're thinking about these things and you're reading the books and you know what I mean? It's not like you're flying off the handle just being an asshole. And they're not. They have a book and they're just repeating it and they don't know how to handle people who are challenging them.
Right.
And if anything, they should encourage you to be like, oh, I've never heard this.
Yeah.
You know, let's hear about this. It's not like you're making it up. So you're coming from some, a tradition.
Yeah. You know what I hated early about people was real and fake. I noticed real early that I couldn't be myself. I'm like, when I'm myself, people hate me. It's like Kanye. When I'm myself, people hate me. They don't want the honesty. But then I noticed that everybody that was fake always had the friends. And so I just was like, you know what? I'll never be that. I'm going to be the outcast.
Well, this is why they're going after you on Facebook.
That's the road I chose. I'm not going to be fake. You know what I'm saying?
So let's talk about this whole. You're the first person I'm talking to about this whole. He retweeted my friend. By the way, my friend had this nice tweet about how, I had a great political discussion today. Instead of arguing, it was from a place of love and understanding each other. He goes, I guess it's the Kanye effect. He didn't hashtag, didn't put at. Kanye retweeted it. So that's how you know Kanye fucking searches Twitter for his fucking name.
He's watching.
He's watching. So what were your thoughts during this whole thing, both to what he was saying and people's reactions?
The slavery coat?
Let's start with that one.
Man, I was watching it early. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh no, he didn't say that." I was because I know what he meant.
What did he mean?
He meant his mental slavery.
Yeah. He obviously meant that.
He meant mental slavery. You know what I'm saying? But the soundbite, slavery is a choice.
Right.
I was like, "Oh, that's gonna get taken out of context and blown up." And I put it on my Twitter and I said, wait till the Negroes get a hold of this.
I had a friend and he had a similar, whenever the cops stopped him, he was black, they always made him sit on the curb. And once he had a son and he's like, no, you can put me on the curb, but I'm not going to sit there like a kid.
Yeah.
And that's what Kanye is talking to. At a certain point, it's like, are you going to accept that someone is dominant over you, or every day are you going to be gritting your teeth and thinking this is not right?
Yeah. I felt like his comment actually had nothing to do with slavery.
Right.
I think he was just talking about the fact that we accept the state that we're in. Black people are in dire straits, if you ask me. We're on the edge right now. But it's not like it's a problem that we can't overcome. I just think that nobody that is in the position to help is willing to help, or they're scared to help, or they're just like, oh, now look at that dirty Negro in the hood. I don't want him near me. He might steal my stuff. They're like white liberals.
That's the white liberal voice. Is that what they sound like?
That's what they sound like. The black liberal wants to become the white liberal.
Yeah.
So once he makes it away, he will talk down on.
Oh yeah. I tweeted this out the other week. That Asian kid, when he was yelling at that girl for wearing a beautiful Chinese dress.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
This is not disrespect in any way. Yeah. There was a poll that came out today. They polled people in China. 93% said this was great. Of course, because it's a beautiful thing. You're not looking like a clown at your prom. And he's yelling at her about this is cultural appropriation, yelling at her in English on Twitter. And I said, that is the whitest thing you can say. But it is. It's such this thing that, like, I'm going to tell you, like you fucking speak for all of China? You're here, asshole.
Yeah.
There's a 1.4 billion of you. You're the fucking king? You're not Mao.
Somebody pulled up some of his old tweets.
Yes, and he's all racist.
And he's like all racist and culturally appropriate.
Yes.
Everything. And black culture is funny as hell. It's funny as hell. That's the liberal mentality. That's what they open the door for, man. And what makes it sick is the fact that he can go viral for doing that.
Who, that kid or Kanye?
It's the same thing as the Starbucks thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like he's being a liberal, and that's what's going to get you media attention. That's what's going to get him retweets. Oh, this is cultural appropriation. He knows there's a gang of people looking for that, waiting to retweet and like him. So he's pandering to an audience.
What do you think? You think this cultural sensitive training that Starbucks is going to go through? You think that's going to make things better or worse?
It's the worst idea.
It's the worst, right? It's a transaction. Here's your coffee. Get the fuck out. Bye.
You know. So first of all, the people they have in charge of it, the wrong people to have in charge of it. You got Eric Holder, the NAACP, and the ADL. 3 entities that know nothing about black people, know nothing about Philadelphia, right?
You don't think Eric Holder and NAACP know about Philadelphia?
These are 3 entities.
Okay. Okay, there's my answer.
That know nothing about black people. Nothing. 0. These are people that have escaped and will do nothing to reach back.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now,
You shut the door behind you.
Yeah. If you want racial bias training, you'd have to bring I'd say male and female of each archetype of black person. Let's say there's 12 archetypes. And bring them in.
Are there 12? Is there actually a list?
Just made that
You
up.
made it up. Okay.
Just estimating.
Okay.
And those are probably hybrids.
Right.
I think it's more like 6. And you bring these archetypes in. You'd probably have to say, like wife swap. You ever seen that show, Wife Swap? You're going to have to make these people live with black people to understand.
They did that once. There was a black nationalist. Do you remember this?
Did they?
Remember that lady who said gargoyle, psychics?
Nah.
There was a Christian lady, Margaret Perrin. She was on one. She ripped up the money because she went to live with a psychic and she was super religious.
Yeah.
And she said it was dark-thoughted. It was the devil. The second time, they sent her to live with a black nationalist. And he was just yelling at her the whole time while driving his cab. And he's in Louisiana or Florida. And she just goes across the street. She was 300 pounds. And there's this lovely black family, you know, on their porch. She goes, "Can I sit and visit with you for a minute?" And he was just screaming at her like she herself was like responsible. She's like, "I don't know anything about race. I'm just a fat lady who likes Jesus." Go ahead.
She's never been around black people.
Right.
So you can't have Eric Holder, NAACP, and ADL teach black euphemisms, culture, our sayings, our expressions, because even our mannerisms, like we're a loud people. So sometimes loud could come off as aggressive.
Yeah.
So you have to get accustomed to the decibels and understand, oh no, that's an okay tone. You got to know certain trigger words that mean, okay, now I might need to call the cops.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So these people need to spend time with black people.
Right.
That's the only way. And black people need to spend time with white people to understand when a white person's annoyed or when they're happy.
It's going to be passive aggressive. They're not going to be popping off.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's that passive aggressiveness that if you ain't around white people, you won't know what it means.
Right. You won't pick up on it.
You won't pick up on it. Next thing you know, the cops is called.
Right.
You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
oh, excuse me, I have to make a phone call.
Yeah.
Make yourself at home. And the next thing you know, what the fuck? Yep.
You got to know that. So that's how you got to treat. But again, that would solve all of our racial problems because you'd be bringing people together.
Yeah, but then there's some of the Hoteps you're saying they don't want to solve the racial problems. They think it's unsolvable.
Yeah, they think the problem is white people.
What do they think about like Mexican people or Chinese people, or do they not talk about it?
Some of them don't like them. You know, I'll be the first one to tell you have racism in the Hispanic community.
Well, in Asian community? Are you kidding? It's off the charts
Asian
there.
community,
It's
absolutely.
off the charts.
You see the Asian dude whoop that lady's ass in the Chinese restaurant?
No.
Oh, whooped her ass.
A black lady?
Black lady. He was hitting her with the Jackie Chan kicks on the ground. What's up? What's up? I mean, hard. I was like, damn. No, she was black and blue. They don't like us.
We're out of time. So wait a minute. If an Asian guy beats up a black lady, does that end up on World Star or does it go to YouTube?
That's going to World Star.
So that's still World Star?
Go to World Star.
Wait, so okay.
All fights go to World Star.
Yeah, it's I spend way too much time on that site. Is there anything? What's the one thing that you think that people who are kind of in the matrix are missing? I'll let you have the last word in our contemporary discourse.
The last word. And that was a mean-ass question.
What?
Mean meaning great question.
Oh, thank you.
See, that's the racial bias we got to work through. It's the racial understanding. When I say that's a mean question.
Well, my name is Malice, so yeah.
See what I'm
Pretty
saying?
mean, yeah.
And I thought you were going to be a white supremacist because your name was Malice.
Yes, sir.
And there's a rapper named Malice, by the way, too. What's the one thing people need to...
There's a rapper called Michael Malice, too, but he don't got michaelmalice.com or michaelmalice.net.
He failed.
He failed.
He failed.
Failed. You fail.
What's the question? What do you
think the one thing people should get in that they're missing in contemporary discourse, regular people?
Shutting the fuck up.
Yeah, and listening more?
Just listen. Listen with an open ear and wanting to understand. You know, there's one thing to listen and waiting your turn to talk. And there's another thing to say, you know what, I'm going to shut up. I'm not going to say anything. All the thoughts that are going through my mind of what I want to say, I'm not going to say. I'm going to just let this person speak, and I'm going to ask questions. I'm only going to ask questions, and I'm doing it from a place of honesty. I'm not going to use declarations.
I lied. I'm not going to give you the last word because I'm going to say something I think you're going to agree with. What I would say is for them to understand a lot of what you're being presented as truth is not just mistaken, but is a conscious lie.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And once you realize that, a lot of things start falling into place.
Life is one big lie.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Hotep Jesus. We're already out of time. I will see you all next week. You are welcome.
What's the